Yo, we back with breaking news. Breaking news ain't too much breaking because the news been out for a little bit now. People want to know who's Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson is one of the suspects. I ain't gonna say the killer just yet because the government be having stuff wrong. They don't had two suspects in custody already, and that was wrong. But they said the suspect they got in custody now. Well, Trump went live earlier. He said it's guaranteed. He can say it's guaranteed. He said, "I got a big feeling that this is the person." That's what he said. But his name is Tyler Robinson. They found the killer, y'all. Let's see what's going on. Hold up. Let's see what's going on. Yeah. Earlier, y'all ain't tell me earlier that my video won't. I ain't had no sound in the video. Y'all ain't even tell me earlier. That's why I'm back here again. We got to go over this again. I be freestyling chat, so this really another freestyle of what's going on. The shooter the person that killed Kirk, Charlie Kirk, he is apprehended. His name is Tyler Robinson. Let's see what the news got to say.
Charlie Kirk announcing 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, who you are looking at, has been identified as the man responsible for killing Charlie Kirk at a speaking event on Utah Valley University campus. Utah Governor Spencer Cox says a family member was involved in turning Robinson in, with FBI Director Kash Patel commending his team for swiftly bringing this suspect to justice. It was about 33 hours, and they found him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. The suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period.
Kash Patel ended those remarks by saying this: "To my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch." This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Alicia Acuna, Fox News senior correspondent, and John Yoo, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, UC Berkeley law professor, and former Justice Thomas law clerk. We begin with Paul Morrow, retired NYPD inspector. He's on the scene. He has been there since yesterday. Paul, we've been keeping in touch, and one of the aspects of this was the Discord messaging that took place between the roommate and between Tyler Robinson. And I just want to list for our viewers.
Well, chat, this is what he looked like. If y'all haven't seen him yet, they said he's 22 years old, from Utah. As y'all see, Caucasian, young Caucasian. I guess, I don't know if he's the college student. I don't know if he was a college student or whatever. They said he wrote on the bullets, faces, whatever that word is. Y'all know y'all come out with new words every day. And something saying you're gay. Laugh out loud, you're gay. Whoever read this, you're gay. That's what he wrote on the bullets. But yeah, here's the killer.
What we know about those Discord messages, there was...
Another thing I want to say is, nobody shouldn't be killed off their opinion, y'all. If it was like that, then all of us would be gone. Like, for real, this man he got, I ain't gonna say assassinated. He got shot and killed in front of his kids and his wife. That's all I said. Like, this is in front of his kids and his wife, y'all.
talk about needing to retrieve a weapon from a drop point. There was mention of a weapon in a bush to visually watch the area. It was wrapped in a towel in this message. Engraved bullets were mentioned as well, a weapon that was unique, a scope, and changed outfits. That seems like a pretty detailed description of what happened in messages with a roommate.
Yes, it does. And it argues perhaps that the roommate was cognizant of what was going to occur or had just occurred. And that's absolutely going to be a very, very focused aspect of this investigation. You can imagine federal government pulling very hard at this. John, you will tell you that almost certainly by now a preservation order has been issued to Discord, which is a gaming app, to make sure they preserve all relevant stuff.
Y'all see how he's walking? Y'all see, look how he's walking. Remember, the nigga jumped off the roof. Y'all ain't even, like, he leaped off the roof. If y'all seen the video, we probably gonna look at the video real fast. They done brought it up, but it ain't really a good picture. But the man jumped off the roof. I'm thinking he's one of them jumper niggas, you know, them jumping people that be jumping roof to roof. I'm like, okay, he got one of them. You're not saying, okay, like that was a good thing. I'm just saying, like, because this is a tragedy, y'all. At the end of the day, regardless of what I believe or what y'all believe, this is just bad. But I'm saying if he had one of them hardcore jumping people that was jumping off roof to roof, he probably would have got away. But this nigga was not an expert. When he fell off that roof, he ain't fall, but he jumped off that roof. I saw him immediately started limping.
Discord, which is a gaming app, to make sure they preserve all relevant stuff relative to this case that's on their.
That man is limping, people. He's hurt. I promise you he's hurt when he jumped off that building.
Servers, they're in San Francisco, so you can get to them. It's not like reaching some overseas entity. And they're going to be looking, that is the feds, will be looking for a potential federal nexus, something going across state lines or that implicates a federal statute. And one of the things that could happen here is that if this was a conspiracy, if there were a few people involved and they're communicating by Discord, well, there's your element. There's your operative element of a federal crime, because internet messages go across state lines. It's used for jurisdiction all the time. You have your federal conspiracy case, and that is whole thing's in Fedland.
You know, Paul, I also want to quickly tick through some of the messages that we learned were on the bullets, including, "Hey, fascist." There was a mention, if you read this quote, you are.
People right here in the left corner, y'all. People right here in the left corner. He's going to jump off the building, and he's going to, like, fall to his knees. And I could just tell he got hurt, man. I could tell.
Are gay, LMAO. Some of them indiscernible messages. We also know that he, in fact, was at a family dinner where he articulated that Charlie Kirk was coming to that campus, that he did not like Charlie Kirk.
Look, he ain't started limping right now because he ain't feel it. But I'm telling you, by the time he got them, you know, the adrenaline rush wore off and stuff like that, you know how it is. You start feeling them, start feeling them goddamn sores. Like, ooh, what the fuck just happened to me? I'm telling you, man, the nigga hurt himself jumping off that building. He limping now.
That he felt Charlie Kirk was full of hate. That dinner had to have taken place in the last 6 days. That is the timeline in which Charlie Kirk announced this event. I bring up all this information because you've got the conspiracy hook there potentially for federal charges. But what about terrorism? Because some of this points to perhaps having a political motive.
You can call something domestic terrorism without actually charging it. The instances of federal charges being brought for terrorism not involving a foreign entity are as rare as hen's teeth. Almost always you need a foreign entity involved for the federal terrorism charges. So I'm skeptical of getting federal terrorism charges on this, but I don't think it really matters. In fact, I would argue you may be better off with the state charges, because state prosecutors are much more used to doing murder prosecutions, which is essentially what this is. So unless it takes an unexpected turn here, I think that ultimately this devolves to state court, unless I said we get this conspiracy piece. And again, they're going to be pulling in all of this. It'll be interesting to watch how the arraignments go. You'll remember the Mangione thing.
Look at him, Chad. Look at him.
Where they were dueling arraignments. I think a lot of that was because the federal government really didn't trust Alvin Bragg's office to bring that case in. This case, I don't think they'll have those trepidations. So let's see who ends up with the arraignment and who ultimately prosecutes the case.
And of course, the death penalty being an option there in Utah. Paul Morrow, thank you. We'll get back with you. But for now, let's bring in former FBI Assistant Director Chris Wecker. Chris,
He hurt, Chad. He hurt.
I want to ask you, what is happening right now? Because we've learned just a little bit, just a sliver of what the FBI knows. I imagine there are search warrants. I imagine they are pouring through devices, looking through computers, finding anything that could hint at a possible motive or possible conspiracy.
Right. All of the above. Search warrants at his house, wherever he's, wherever his car, his mobile device, his laptop, his computer, social media sites, as Paul has pointed out. And I'll reinforce what Paul just said. I agree with him 100%. I think you're going to have to they're trying to find a federal nexus here, but I think they're going to have to shoehorn something in. John can, shed more light on this, but I have scoured.
And the person that turned him in, Chad, was his father. His father was like, your parents know you more than anything. And when that picture came out on the internet, his father was like, oh yeah, that's my son. And I think he confessed to his father that he was the killer. But at the end of the day, the father was like, I can't have nothing to do with this. They gonna charge me with it. Harboring a fugitive or something. I know they would. They ain't playing about this shit. This shit, like, and he ain't even a politic. But he's the president's friend. If you can't get to the president, you're gonna get to, it's just like the streets. Can't get to you, you're gonna get to the next best thing.
The statutes. I cannot find one that actually fits here that would carry the same gravity and death sentence that a Utah state first-degree murder charge would bring. So, and they're also in the process now. We've moved from manhunt to prosecution. We're going to build a prosecution here, match the forensic evidence with the subject, talk to people, harvest all that computer forensics, electronic forensics. All that takes time. And, he has 3 days to go before the formal charges are filed in Utah. So there's a little bit of time there. But I really, really don't think we're going to see a federal crime charged here that carries the same gravity and certainty that you would have in Utah under a state charge.
Chris, 2 hours ago, Jim Trusty mentioned, an attorney, that there was not a prosecutor that he saw at that press conference, and that was strategic. And they strategically put out the evidence in a way that, did due diligence to what the public needs to know, but regarding and keeping mindfulness of the sanctity of the prosecution, he noted. If you're an FBI agent, how do you determine what the public should know and what?
Dying like a beast. Pre-order now.
This shit that went like this off of your opinion is crazy. All of us got opinions. All of us got ass. So we was killed off everything we was thinking or wanted to say.
Yeah.
If we was killed off everything we wanted to say, man, it's junk off. Well, that's how it is. That's really what people getting killed off for their opinions. But like I said, though, this ain't no laughing matter. It's a lot of people over there laughing on the other sides. And I'm not on either side. I'm just giving y'all the news. I'm just on the right side. A lot of stuff he said he was speaking facts. A lot of stuff, I can't really say that I didn't agree with a lot of stuff he said because I didn't really listen to him. But what I did hear from him, I kind of agree with a lot of stuff he was saying. He just really wanted to make the world a better place. I'm just sad at the fact that his kids and his wife saw this stuff. He knew what as a man, you're going out there and it's treacherous out there. He know what he was up against. He know what was going to happen to him. It's just that his kids and his wife was there, y'all. I'm going to show y'all something. Damian Amani, that boy was popping shit. I don't know how long ago this is. I don't know if it's real. But we got to peep this. We got to check this out real fast. Chat, before we leave. My kids is calling me. They want to go to the movies and see, they want to go see Toy Story come back out. So they want to go see Toy Story real fast. When Woody say, Andy coming, we all gonna play dead in the movie theater. But peep this, chat.
fundamental part of being an American, that we are able to express our opinions to each other without fear, without this kind of horror happening. And it seems to be something we have been seeing more and more of. And it's not even left or right. It's just people being taken out because of their beliefs.
There's just no place for this kind of violence in this country. I am heartbroken over it. I cannot believe that someone would kill another person because they were speaking.
I'm always saying, I don't know if it's new. I just looked at the title. See, this is my first, I don't be looking at stuff, y'all. I'm telling you, I just be straight freestyling. I just looked at the title. I don't know if he was on The View today. I don't think so, man. This got to be some funny shit, man. This got to be some funny shit.
Their beliefs.
Well, for years, you and
said,
your allies in the media have been conditioning half of the country against the president, his supporters, and figures like Charlie Kirk. Trump is Hitler, his supporters are fascists, right-wing extremists is danger to our democracy, they're Nazis, you know the words. Yet you seriously sit here acting surprised when lunatics who believe your words decide to take matters into their own hands.
Shots fired. Shots fired, chat.
Your side burn and loot every time things don't go your way. Your side tried to assassinate the president multiple times. Your side burned Teslas all around the country and wanted Elon dead. Your side assassinated Charlie Kirk. Your side is currently celebrating it. So don't talk to me about, well, this is not a left and right issue. It is the left. It's only the left. It's ironically the Democratic side who engages in political violence and killings of figures they disagree with. And every time something like this happens, you come here, you tune down the rhetoric, crocodile tears, ooh, I can't believe this. Then a week later, you go right back at the dictator and fascist rhetoric again. So you don't really care. You're just pretending. And for that, fuck you, and you in a corner too.
Oh, shit. Right there. Well, that was Damian Amani with his response. Don't know if that was factual or not, but okay.
Necessary to feed to certain witnesses, you want them to have their own recollection. So you don't want to so-called taint the prosecution in any way. You err on the side of caution. So I am a little bit surprised there wasn't a prosecutor there, because they should be there to kind of pull back on the reins if they need to. The last thing you want to do at this juncture is jeopardize a prosecution.
You know, Chris, a final question to you. There was talk this morning from the President of the United States, some details about the family member that turned Tyler Robinson in. That came, we now know.
Remember, I told you that was just, I think about
at the evening of September 11th. We've seen a lot of cases where there are family members that cover for their children, in particular parents, hide their children. Based on what the president said, it seems like perhaps the father was involved in keeping this individual detained and ultimately turning him over. The big break was a family member who came forward.
Yeah, and apparently the father is a sheriff's deputy. So this is not unheard of, but it's actually the best possible scenario here, based on, and that's what they were shooting for when they put out that information and the photos and all of that, was someone close to him got the information to the right people, and they foreclosed a shootout or a suicide. So this family member did this out of compassion for the person, for their son or their loved one. So, this is hard to do. You can imagine the gut-wrenching decision that they had to make, but it was the right thing to do. And I've seen it happen before, but it is fairly rare, as you pointed out. But this is what we wanted to happen.
Yeah, and last night, we were anticipating a press conference, and I was sitting there in for Jesse Waters, and I was told we're camera chasing down a street, and now it was 250 miles away. That would have been a ton of camera chasing. That was indeed happening, but now we know that it was a father, a family member that excuse me one moment in my ear, there was a family member that made that big break. Thank you very much, Chris Swecker.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone, I'm Emily.
Well, chat. There y'all go. I want to say G safe, be safe, and C safe out there in them streets. It's a lot of wickedness going on. It's a lot of wickedness going on. Watch your surroundings, like I tell you. Uncle Paul tell you, watch your surroundings. Just pray. At the end of the day, I can't tell you stop living your life, but just be cautious. I want to say again, RP to that man and condolences to his family. Paul's Cast Podcast.